said, you are the one whose origin was a sperm drop, whose ending is the grave, the dust. Can you make it 60? What a poor man. Subhanallah. A poor guy, he has bought fruits from the main market, has come, he's pushed his cart all the way to our market, sweating. Same guy will go to a 5-star restaurant and he will buy a 5,000 rupee, main course. My friends, it's all about akhirat. It's all about akhirat. Dunya will finish, right? At the end of the day, we will all go into the same grave. What if somebody says, oh, Allah Ta'ala is Razik, so let me sit, relax, one fine day, I'll get up in the morning and I'll find $1 million under the pillow. How does arrogance manifest? Generally, about the achievements that people have. When people gain a lot of wealth, they become arrogant people. I've seen people who are very humble, had a very humble background. They were not very wealthy, right? Coming from so-called very middle-class families or lower middle-class families. And Allah Ta'ala blesses them with wealth later on, and they absolutely forget that what they were like 10 years ago. Now, of wealth, right? They drive bigger cars, better cars, they have a position, and suddenly they start acting as if they were born like that. So when people get blessings from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and if they don't realize that this is from Allah, they do become arrogant people. Allah Ta'ala says in the Quran in Surah Al-Hadid that whatever calamity falls on you, it is already written in taqdeer, in your destiny. And then Allah Ta'ala says the reason it is told to you that everything is destiny. Your poverty is your destiny, your sickness is your destiny, and your wealth is your destiny. It is written by Allah. It is given to you by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Even though it looks like that you have made a lot of effort and you worked hard for that and you have earned it, but in reality, it is the destiny. It has been written. You were supposed to get wealth. It was the distribution of Allah. لِكَيْ لَا تَأْسَوْا عَلَى مَا فَاتَكُمْ وَلَا تَفْرَحُوا بِمَا آتَاكُمْ. Allah Ta'ala is saying, I'm telling you this so that you may know, so that you neither grieve over what you have missed out. Oh, I lost it. I lost in my business. So don't grieve. Don't have extraordinary grief, so that you don't have a heart attack. Oh my God, I lost in my business. It is in your taqdeer. And also so that you do not boast over what Allah has granted you. وَلَا تَفْرَحُوا بِمَا آتَاكُمْ. So that you don't boast, you are not arrogant about what He gave you. وَاللَّهُ لَا يُحِبُّ كُلَّ مُخْتَالٍ فَخُورٍ. Allah Ta'ala does not like whoever is arrogant and boastful. He does not like him. He does not like him at all. Alif Lam Mim, ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابِ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. It's a book which has no doubt in it. It is a guidance for the people of taqwa. Who are those people of taqwa who get guidance from Quran? الَّذِينَ يُؤْمِنُونَ بِالْغَيْبِ, who believe in the unseen, وَيُقِيمُونَ الصَّلَاةِ, who establish prayers, وَمِمَّا رَزَقْنَاهُمْ يُنْفِقُونَ, and they spend from what I have granted them, who spend from what I have given to them. Allah Ta'ala He keeps on reminding people that this wealth I have granted you. Even though, as I said, that looks like he has earned it, he has made an effort, he has worked hard, but if it was not Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's permission, if it was not his tawfiq, if he had not granted people that, people would not have earned that. How many are the people who make so much of an effort in their businesses and they don't get anything out of it, and you find people who just make a little bit of effort and they get so much. So we need to remember that this is something that does manifest arrogance in people. And as I've said already, one thing that manifests arrogance in people is that they think of themselves, oh, I've gained knowledge, I've done this. خَلَقْتَنِي مِن نَارٍ خَلَقْتَهُ مِن طِينٍ. Oh, my father was a big, he was the CEO of that multinational, and I'm the son of that CEO, I'm the son of a minister, I'm the son of Falan, and I have a relationship, he's so close to me, I have a very close relationship with the ministers and the governors, and this is what makes people arrogant. My father bought me a Land Cruiser or a Lamborghini or what, and subhanAllah, people, look at the way people drive these cars at times, right? They don't even consider people walking, pedestrians, people driving bicycles or cycles. Their looks, the way that they look at them. What has manifested that arrogance? Because they're driving big cars, because their fathers have bought them bigger cars? Come on. Right? We have to think, reflect. How does it manifest in people? You see the way that they talk, right? As I said, وَلَا تُسَعِّرْ خَدَّكَ لِلنَّاسِ. Allah Ta'ala says in Surah Luqman, when Sayyidina Luqman alayhi salam was advising his son, one of the advices that he gave to his son was, وَلَا تُسَعِّرْ خَدَّكَ لِلنَّاسِ. Do not turn as they say in English, don't turn your nose up to the people, although literal translation would be, don't swell your cheeks, right? So in English, they say that don't turn your nose up to the people. That's how, in different languages you say things. For example, حُبُّ الدُّنْيَا رَأْسُ كُلِّ خَطِيئَةٍ. Prophet said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that the love of dunya is the رَأْسُ كُلِّ خَطِيئَةٍ. If you literally translate that, is the head of every wrong. Is the head of every wrong. But if you say that in English, it's the root cause of everything, of every wrong. So head versus root. So this is how you say things in different languages. But you see, if somebody chops off the head of somebody, he dies. And if you cut the roots of a plant, it dies. So it's the same thing, but the way of saying things in different languages is different. So don't swell your cheeks, it's a literal translation. But in English, generally it is said, don't turn your nose up to the people. وَلَا تُسَعِّرْ خَدَّكَ لِلنَّاسِ وَلَا تَمْشِي فِي الْأَرْضِ مَرَحًا. Sayyidina Luqman alayhi salam advised his son that don't walk with pride on the earth. Why? إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُحِبُّ كُلَّ مُخْتَالٍ فَخُورٍ. Same thing, Allah Ta'ala does not like whoever is arrogant and boastful. And he is advising his son, and Allah Ta'ala quoted him in the Quran, made it part of his speech. He made it part of the kalam of Allah, made it part of the Quran. Subhanallah. Allah Ta'ala loved his advice so much that this is what he's going to advise his son, and Allah Ta'ala loved it, and he's quoting. And of course, there is a wisdom behind that. One wisdom is that Allah Ta'ala also loves when father advises his son. That's a different thing. But this is how you see that arrogance manifests in people. You see these things, and you know that he's an arrogant man. Even though he says, oh, in my humble opinion, oh, I'm very humble. Well, the way that you're talking, the way that you're walking, the way that you're driving your car, the way that you deal with people, and people, unfortunately, the way that they deal with the people who work for them. There are people driving their cars. What is the way of sitting with a driver? Walk on the back seat, right? Do you know where is it coming from? Because people do not want to sit at the same level as those who are driving their cars, the chauffeurs. A'udhu billah, astaghfirullah. They're human beings, right? They also have red blood like me. They also have emotions like me. They also breathe like me. They also eat like me. They also drink like me. And that the waste that develops in the stomach, they also relieve like me. What's the difference? It's just that he's working for me. It's just that I'm paying him salary. That's it, because I own this car and he drives my car. That's why. one of the scholars of early times, Imam Ghazali rahmatullah alayhi, he writes in his famous book Ahya Ulumuddin, he writes that a righteous man saw a man walking very arrogantly. So he went to him. He said, look, don't walk arrogantly. Allah Ta'ala does not like it. He said, you don't know who am I? He said, I know who are you. He said, who am I? He said, you are the one whose origin was a sperm drop, whose ending is the grave, the dust. And in these two extremes, you're carrying filth in your stomach. I know who you are. He said, Jazakumullahu khairan. Thank you very much. May Allah reward you that you guided me. And that's exactly what it is. Right? This is our reality. And that's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminds us over and over again. Min ayyi shay'in khalaqa. Min nutfa. خلقه فقدر ثم السبيل يسر ثم أماته فأقبر. What has Allah Ta'ala created him from? What has Allah Ta'ala created the man from, the human from? Min nutfa, from a sperm drop. خلقه فقدره. He created him. And then He destined things for him. ثم السبيل يسر. And then Allah Ta'ala made that pathway easy for him to come out from the wombs of his mothers. ثُمَّ أَمَاتَهُ فَأَقْبَرَهُ. And then a day will come when Allah Ta'ala will make him to die and He will put him into his grave. This is insan, this is the human life cycle. From a sperm drop to the grave. And not only that, then He'll raise him up, raise us all up, and will ask us as to what we have been doing on this planet Earth. Have we been arrogant or were we humble? So, but this is how you see that people are arrogant people, the way that they deal with their employees, their drivers, the people who open gates for them, who are their guards, subhanAllah. Don't even say salam to them. The way that we talk to these people selling fruits on the carts. Look at how we interact with them. How much is the fruit? Come on here. Assalamu alaikum. Babaji, how much is the fruit? How much are the fruits for? How much are the apples? He said 100 rupees kilo. What should we do? Can you make it 60? What a poor man. Subhanallah. A poor guy, he has bought fruits from the main market, has come, he's pushed his cart all the way to our market, sweating. And we want him to, sell us for 60 rupees, 50 rupees per kilo. Come on. We should be saying to him, only 100? Come on, I'll give you 200. Right? Same guy will go to a 5-star restaurant and he will buy a 5,000 rupee, main course. And at the end of the day, we'll also give him 500 as a tip, isn't it? What's wrong with this poor guy selling fruit on the carts? Why can't you give him a 500 rupee tip? Because it's a 5-star restaurant and he's a poor guy, right? Selling fruit, sweating, and this is arrogance. The way that we deal with people, the way that we talk with people, the way that we interact with people. These poor guys, a plumber, a carpenter, so-called not so, such high jobs or not such high social class. The way that the car that he is driving. Allah Ta'ala dislikes that. Allah Ta'ala hates these people. Inna Allah la yuhibbu kulla mukhtalin fakhur. Allah Ta'ala does not like these arrogant and boastful people. He cannot enter paradise as per the hadith of the Prophet alayhi salatu wassalam. Whoever has particles weight of arrogance in his heart. And there are so many ahadith, there are so many verses of the Quran. Allah Ta'ala says, كَذَلِكَ يَطْبَعُ اللَّهُ عَلَى كُلِّ قَلْبِ مُتَكَبِّرٍ جَبَّارٍ. Allah Ta'ala seals the hearts of every arrogant and tyrant. Oh my God. If the heart gets sealed, my friends, there cannot be anything worse than that can happen to any of us. Ma'azallah. May Allah protect us. Because as long as the heart is open, there is a chance that the guidance can come into it. If it gets sealed, then no guidance can enter, no light can enter, no nur can enter into it. And why does Allah Ta'ala do it? Because of people's own actions, their arrogance. Right? Allah Ta'ala gives chances, by the way. He does not just seal it like that. He gives chances after chances after chances. Maybe he does tawbah. Maybe he repents. Maybe he says sorry to Allah Ta'ala. But at the end of it, if people do not do tawbah, then Allah Ta'ala seals the heart. And then when the heart gets sealed, then of course people will not get guidance. Of course, what will they do? They will do sins. And every sin will take you into further darkness. Right? My friends, it's all about akhirat. It's all about akhirat. Dunya will finish, right? At the end of the day, we will all go into the same grave. A minister will go into the same grave as a fruit seller on the street, right? Same grave. It's not going to be bigger than that. We'll have the same, no air conditioning in the graves, right? So what will help us in our graves on the day of judgment is the righteous actions that we do, isn't it? Is the humility that we show to people, the love and the care that we show to people, the character that we have been talking about, that we show to people. So it's all about akhirah. This dunya will finish. Allah Ta'ala says in the Quran in Surah Al-Zumar that when some people will be taken to the hellfire, قِيلَ ادْخُلُوا أَبْوَابَ جَهَنَّمْ خَالِدِينَ فِيهَا, it will be said to them, enter the doors of the hellfire and you will stay in it forever. فَبِئْسَ مَثْوَى الْمُتَكَبِّرِينَ. How bad, what an evil abode is of the arrogant people. They were arrogant. It was told to them, it was said to them, believe in this, do this, pray 5 times a day. They will refuse. Why? Out of arrogance. So I said somewhere at the start, we should reflect on ourselves. We should do our muhasabah, self-reflection, right? If I'm arrogant or not. As I said before that, we should be honest with ourselves. There is no point of being dishonest with our own selves. Should not be dishonest with anybody, but this is the height of ignorance, I would say, that if we are dishonest with our own selves. Prophet said, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, al-kayyisu man dana nafsahu wa amila lima ba'da al-maut. Intelligent is he, man dana nafsahu. It means 2 things. One is that who controls his nafs. But the second meaning of that is who looks at his nafs very closely, who brings his nafs closer, who does his muhasabah, who self-reflects, mandana nafsahu. And as a result of that, he acts on what is coming after death. He acts for what is coming after death, the next life. His actions will be focused on that. وَالْعَاجِزُ مَنِ اتَّبَعَ نَفْسَهُ هَوَاهَا وَتَمَنَّى عَلَى اللَّهِ أَوْ كَمَا قَالَ. And unintelligent is he who let his nafs follow its desires. And then he has hopes in Allah. Prophet is saying, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he's unintelligent, he's not intelligent. Oh, he does whatever and then have hope in Allah. Allah is Ghafurur Rahim, he'll forgive. Again, Imam Ghazali rahimahullah ta'ala says, he gives an example. He says, look, Allah Ta'ala is Razik, yes? Yes or no? He is, right? He is the provider. He is the only provider. He is the ultimate provider. He is the absolute provider. What if somebody says, oh, Allah Ta'ala is Razik, so let me sit, relax, one fine day, I'll get up in the morning and I'll find like $1 million under the pillow. What will you call this man? Bole? Dodger, unintelligent, or
A beginist.
Yeah, whatever you want to call it. Right? He's unintelligent for sure. This is a very sophisticated way of saying something. Right? Right? Exactly like that. We just like Allah Ta'ala is Razik, we believe in Him, but we'll make an effort to get that risk. At the end of the day, Allah Ta'ala will provide, but we have to make an effort. Allah Ta'ala is Al-Ghafur, He is Ar-Rahim. He is forgiving and He's merciful. But we have to attract Allah Ta'ala's forgiveness and mercy by doing actions. We have to make an effort. We have to control our desires and keep it within the limits of Shariat and Sunnah. We cannot just keep on doing whatever we are doing and say, oh, Allah is Ghafur Rahim. Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is saying he is not intelligent. Who has put his nafs behind his desires, does whatever, sleeps over Fajr time, lies and cheats and does corruption and whatever, watches immoral stuff and things like that. Oh, Allah is Ghafur Rahim. He's unintelligent. So what we have to do, our muhasabah, we have to look at ourselves very closely and with honesty and see if I'm arrogant. And I've already said how does arrogance manifest in people? How do you see that people have arrogance? We did a few examples. I should have a very close look at ourselves and see if I'm that. Am I also sitting at the back seat in the car and my driver is driving the car? I don't want to be sitting in the same level as my driver. Right? Why? Why can't I? I should actually. Right? And I'm sitting, reading a newspaper while going to the office, right? And he's saying, and if he does anything wrong, and the way that I talk to him, I shout at him, Samajh nahi aati tumhe, don't you understand? Come on, he's a human being. Talk to him with care, with love, with respect, with dignity. I should reflect. How often do I interrupt talking to people? Wait a minute. Stop. While he is talking, let him finish. Listen to him. Right? I think my opinion is the best. And then I say, in my humble opinion. How come your opinion is humble? You think yours is the best of the best. You think everybody else, is wrong. I am right. And then it's my humble opinion. How is it humble? You disregard everybody else. You never listen to anybody. This is not humble opinion. Humble opinion is that I listen to everybody. See what this guy is saying. He's maybe 30 years younger than me. But he could be right. Right? Let me listen. He can be right. This young boy, he can be right. My wife can be right. My husband can be right. Let's listen to what they have to say. My son can be right. My daughter can be right. I have to listen to everybody. And then think and reflect. But then, if I think, based on some evidences, based on Quranic principles, Sunnah, or something else, still if I think with an honest analysis of people's opinions, if I think that I'm right, then I'm right. But the fact that I interrupt people, I don't even want to listen to anybody, that is a sign of arrogance, right? There are people who just don't want that anybody else is praised instead of me. And you see that in corporate cultures a lot. If the manager, he praises somebody, oh, mashallah, well done, Luqman. How come is he praised? I also do that. And I'm also a videographer. How come that he is praised and not me? Well, he's praised because he's done a good work. He's done some good project, right? So if I am humble, then not only, and there's another thing, inshallah we'll talk about that as well. There's another problem, which is called jealousy. And that's another thing which is a spiritual sickness. And in order to have good character, we also have to get rid of jealousy. But, I'm jealous of the fact that he's praised. But I'm also possibly arrogant of the fact, how come anybody can be better than me? How come, somebody is saying that he has done a better job than me? Because I do the best. Is it? Self-analysis, right? It could be that I have really done better than him. And somehow my management has not seen the hard work that I put in, and I know he's not even done anything, but they're praising him for what he's not done. It could be that, but what I'm trying to say is we have to do a very honest self-assessment. Why I'm feeling what I'm feeling? Is it feeling because I'm arrogant and jealous? Or it could be that it's injustice. That's a dilemma. This is how we should do our self-analysis. Another thing, do I take feedback from people? Do I get offensive when people give me feedback? Constructive feedback. Right? We should listen to everybody. As they say, where there is smoke, there is fire. Right? If you see smoke, there must be fire. If people are criticizing me right and left, right, rather than all bad, people don't know, that's all what people do. They're always critical. They're always criticizing. No, wait a minute. Right? Let's listen to their criticism. And again, it could be that some people are just criticizing because they are jealous of me. But it could also be that out of those 100 criticisms, maybe there are 5 that are valid criticisms, right? Why I'm sitting like that? People say, why is he sitting like this? Well, maybe he's right. I should not be sitting like this. So listen to people's criticisms, have an honest analysis of that, and if they are saying what they're saying is right, then I should take it on board and try to correct myself. Otherwise, arrogant people will never take any criticism whatsoever, even if that is right. Right? And that leads to, I'm always right. They say, the boss is always right. He's not. He is not always right. Everybody is a human being. I'm a human being. I'm not always right. كل بني آدم خطاء وخير الخطائين التوابون. Prophet said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, every human being makes mistakes. Every human being. Kullu bani Adam. All sons of Adam, they make a lot of mistakes. Khatta'un. We all make a lot of mistakes. But he said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, wa khairul khatta'in at-tawwabun. The best of those who make mistakes are those who repent a lot as well, who keep on correcting themselves. This is being a believer, right? I make a mistake, I say, Astaghfirullah, I'm sorry, Ya Allah. And then I learn from my mistakes. And the next time it happens, I try not to repeat that mistake. That's all I always say to my students. I say, making a mistake is not an issue at all. Repeating a mistake is an issue. Making a mistake is not an issue. Repeating a mistake is an issue. And repeating it multiple times is a big issue. لا يلدغ المؤمن في جحر واحد مرتين أو من جحر واحد مرتين. A believer is not bit from the same hole twice. He can be bit, yes, but not twice from the same hole. It could be from a different hole. Right? He can make mistake in another way, yes, but once he has made a mistake from this side, he should not be repeating the same mistake from the same thing or from the same side. Not at all. Right? So we all make mistakes. If somebody corrects me, I should listen to that person. Right? I'm not always right. I should be willing to admit being wrong and to say, I'm sorry. This being a good human being, this being a good believer, a good mu'min, a good Muslim. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And by the way, if somebody does say I'm sorry, what should we do? Accept those apologies and forgive that person and let it go. Jaane do. Let's move on with life. Some people they just hang on to it. They just stick to that. Oh, no. How come? I'm sorry. But how come? I'm sorry. But why did you do it? I'm sorry. Come on. Let's move on. Let it go. He's apologetic. He's saying, I'm sorry. Let's move on. Right? This is Islam. If we want that Allah Ta'ala forgives me of my wrongs, then I must be ready to forgive others for the sake of Allah. Al-jaza'u min jinsil amal. People get what they do. Right? If you want that Allah Ta'ala hides my wrongs, I should hide people's wrongs. I should not be talking to people about people's wrongs. If I want that Allah Ta'ala hides my faults in this dunya and the akhirat, it is absolutely necessary that I must hide people's wrongs, their shortcomings, if I want that my shortcomings are hidden from people. Otherwise, Allah Ta'ala can reveal people's faults if they're revealing others' faults. He does actually. وَتُعِزُّ مَن تَشَاءُ وَتُذِلُّ مَن تَشَاءُ. You give respect and honor to whoever you like, Ya Allah, you want, and you disgrace those who you want. Allah Ta'ala can disgrace people. Auzubillah, may Allah protect us. My friend, but arrogance is a deadly, deadly disease. So what should we do then if we are arrogant? I did my self-analysis. I am arrogant. Oh my God. What should I do?